In 2011, I exhibited in Townsville's Strand Ephemera for the first time. The artwork was called Rock Anemone, and it was made of red PVC-coated fabric and stuffed with polyester fibre. It was a tentacled sea creature which contrasted brightly against the rocky backdrop. As well as working with fabric, I also work on a variety of other materials. Dancing for Joy is a coil-formed sculpture made from manila rope. Displayed at the Swell Sculpture Festival, many visitors came and stood alongside the sculpture, leg and arm up in the air as they tried to mimic the pose. Although I enjoy working in a variety of different materials, I often revert back to using fabric. Producing sculpture in fabric can pose its challenges, though these challenges are often rewarded by soft sculpture's special and sometimes unexpected qualities. Words that come to mind when I think about soft sculpture are springy, bouncy, puffy, floppy, and squishy, just to name a few. Soft sculpture can also be can sound a bit silly with words like that attached to them, but it can also be a serious art form depending on the subject matter. I like to think of artwork in an emotional way. It makes me smile, it makes me think, it makes me feel something, and I guess that's what most artists are hoping to achieve. I find the similarities between dressmaking and soft sculpture are closely connected by structure. However, in dressmaking, the structured form is held up by the human body, while in soft sculpture, the challenge is to work from both the inner core and the outer shell. My construction process begins with numerous sketches, marking up the patterns, usually directly onto the fabric, followed by cutting and stitching the pieces together using a combination of machine and hand sewing techniques. The forms are stuffed with polyester fibre and attached to a mount board. Sometimes a combination of techniques are displayed together within the same artwork. This pod is a woven rope sculpture which housed a spiky red soft sculpture inside, just like a little seed inside a pod. Another charm to soft sculpture is the way I am able to express myself in the stitching. Nothing is more satisfying than seeing these stitches bunched up and on display. It is so completely different to what sewing meant to me when I was working in fashion, as I would never have had my stitches shown on a garment in that way. Recently I added more fashion elements into my art practice, and last year I entered the World of Wearable Art Awards, which is held yearly in Wellington, New Zealand. This red sculpted garment was my entry, and I wanted to capture the look of sound. The shaker suit also contained rattles, giving the garment its sound component. In 2012, I had my first solo exhibition called Pipe Dreams. Displayed at the Gold Coast City Gallery, these bright red pipes sculptures contrasted boldly against the white walls of the gallery. Coming from a family of plumbers has given me a familiar connection to this pipe and tap theme. And while designing my colourful sculptures, I would show my dad, just so I could see his quizzical reactions. Inspiration does come in many forms. Earlier this year I had another solo exhibition held at the Tweed River Art Gallery. Predominantly inspired from visuals of random objects, textures and colours in life, through to obscure TV shows, often ones with a quirky Eurotrash style aesthetic. And there is also a great appreciation of artists and designers such as Jean-Paul Gaultier, Louise Bourgeois and Rebecca Horn, all of whose work I admire. This exhibition was called Rubber Gloves, Sharp Teeth and Other Pointy Bits, to which I displayed a different character of artwork. The materials used spoke a different mood. The black inner tube rubber, for example, with its subtle depth, to the skin-like texture of latex, both bringing animalistic qualities to the artworks. Colour also played an important part in the exhibition. Colours such as pink, yellow, and cherry red were peppered throughout the exhibition, as well as the use of recycled and unusual materials were explored to create this display, as with the yellow fabric, which is similar to the garments worn by road crew workers. These types of fabrics are mainly worn for their safety and weather protective qualities, now transformed into a cubic animalistic form. I also use a variety of other materials such as nails, clay teeth, plastic doll parts, and buffalo horn to add the sharp and the pointy aspects to the display. While the main key was to create a series of soft sculptures that had animalistic qualities, it was also a way for me to share my empathy with living things. While also referring to some negative characteristics generally associated with the human animal, sculptures like bottom feeder, made from rubber gloves, is both derogatory as well as descriptive of an animal type. Some of my other sculptures were also a reference to ideals such as animal totems or spirit guides, where the feistier the animal, the stronger the protection. But for the most part, these artworks were very tongue-in-cheek in their inception. It's a thrill when you can look back over your artwork and connect the dots and start to tie the stories together. And with pipes being that reoccurring theme, I also made some white PVC plumbing fixtures, which were a cheeky reference to the word vanity. My sculpture in this year's Strand Ephemera utilises plumbing componentry, and when I saw this plush fabric with its fun spot, it simply made me smile. I felt a series of plush taps and pipes made from this spotted fabric would look perfect in that nonsensical kind of way, and they would be a fun way to challenge some of our predetermined ideas on what the size, scale and materiality of an object should be. Thank you.